Jason Hooper is packing up products from his store, Wild Paws in Bracebridge, which he shared with his late wife, Julia, who lost her battle with cancer in December. Hooper says it all happened so fast.
We opened the store in March, and by July she was experiencing back pain. So we went to the hospital and they thought it was an abscess. They couldn't quite figure out what it was. They sent her to Toronto General. They thought it was an abscess or something like that. They were taking scans, but she was quite thin and they were really struggling with the scans. But eventually they released her and she came back home. And within 5 minutes of me seeing her back home, she was in so much pain that I had to take her back to Bracebridge. And they weren't sure what to do, so they coordinated with Mount Sinai. And she had to stay in the hospital and wait, because if I drove her to Mount Sinai, she would have to wait in the waiting room, in the emergency room, and she was in so much pain that she had to stay up here and wait till they could coordinate that they drive her straight down there and she gets a bed straight away, as opposed to sitting in the emergency room. And that's when they started doing all the scans and the CAT scans and everything, and they found out that it was cancer. So she had Crohn's, and apparently this is related to that.
In that time, Hooper says Julia maintained a positive attitude.
Because she's been in and out of hospitals so many times over the years with Crohn's, she assumed this was just another one of those Crohn's-related things. So she was very hopeful the whole time while she was there. She was like, I'm going to do chemo, I'm going to do radiation, and I'm going home, back to my store and back to my husband. I would be visiting her and she would say, no crying now. And she never discussed my future. Maybe in her head she still thought that I'm going to beat this, like I've beaten everything else that's come my way.
But despite her optimism, it became clear to both of them that Julia wasn't going to beat cancer.
They asked her, what do you want to do? And she had been in the hospital at that point for 5 months, and she said, I don't want to be here anymore. She said, if it's not working, I want to be with my family, and it's Christmas, I want to spend it there. So a whole lot of people organized the bed and all the supplies at her mom's house in Guelph. And she arrived there on the 22nd. And she stayed there, and I took care of her as best I could, and the nurses came in and helped me and stuff. At the end of Christmas Day, she looked at me and said, I made it. And by December 28th, she was gone. So her goal was to see Christmas with her family, and that's what she did.
Now, while Hooper and his wife were going through this experience, someone had set up a fundraising initiative here on this website, and word soon spread. Thousands was raised, and strangers were coming to Hooper to offer words of sympathy.
For someone who was very cynical, as I was, about just everyday people helping you, it was very much a surprise. Something I was never used to. And it changes the way I think about helping other people. And you know, to me, cancer was always one of those things that it's always someone else down the street, someone else down the block, but it isn't. It's people around you, it's people that you see every day, you just don't know.
Their store may be closing, but Hooper says it was a blessing to make this dream come true for Julia.
Just the fact that I could give that to Julia for her last, few months. If this was meant to be her last year, she wasn't in Brampton or Toronto or doing freight. She was doing the things that she loved, which was helping people, baking and being with dogs. That's all she ever wanted. And I'm glad I got to give that to her.